Our vanishing coastal prairies are home to a great diversity of wildlife, including one of the most critically endangered birds in North America, the Attwater's prairie chicken. Over a century ago, up to 1 million Attwater's prairie chickens graced this vibrant landscape. Each spring, males gathered together to perform an elaborate courtship ritual. Dressed to impress, they rapidly stomped their little feet and inflated their bright yellow air sacs, simultaneously emitting an impressive and somewhat solemn booming sound across a sea of native grasses. Today, less than 1% of coastal prairie remains, and there are less than 100 of these beautiful birds remaining in the wild. The Houston Zoo and 5 other Texas institutions are part of a captive breeding program to recover this native species from the brink of extinction. Every March, about 30 miles away from the Houston Zoo at the NASA Johnson Space Center, captive Attwater's prairie chickens perform this charismatic dance once again. These birds are responsible for the continued existence of their species. The Houston Zoo's curator of birds, Hannah Bailey, oversees this program.
Attwaters are endemic to Texas, which means they're found only in Texas. And as a native Texan, that's something I'm proud of. Texans love the things that are from Texas, and this is one of them.
We're putting something back. We're working towards a goal, and hopefully within a very near future anyway, we will accomplish that goal. Habitat restoration, it's not just putting prairie chickens back into the wild. If there isn't any land for them, if their habitat's not there, then they're not going to survive.
Most of the Texas Gulf Prairie has been converted to agricultural lands or even subdivisions in some areas. So that's really impacted the habitat and the breeding and basically the entire population of prairie chickens.
Once eggs have been laid by female Attwater's prairie chickens at the facilities at the NASA Johnson Space Center, they are carefully collected from the nest and transported back to the Houston Zoo. For the next 26 days, they will incubate and receive diligent care under the watchful eye of bird keepers like Molly Coyam.
When the eggs come back, we candle them, which means we hold them up to a light and we check to see if there's any cracks or any imperfections in the eggshell. If there's imperfections in the shell, they might have a high or low weight loss, which affects the embryo and its development. So we just try to make sure that everything's okay with the egg before we put it in an incubator.
The eggs will soon hatch, and a new generation of hope for this imperiled species will breathe life. In the following days and weeks, the chicks will move through a series of enclosures at the zoo to accommodate growth and to provide more space for activity and exploration. The chicks will grow rapidly, soon getting their juvenile flight and tail feathers. The birds are selected for release in late June or early July at between 6 weeks to 4 months of age. These special animals are then transported to the Attwater's Prairie Chicken Refuge, about 60 miles west of Houston. It is one of the last remnants of coastal prairie habitat remaining in southeast Texas, and home to one of the last populations of this critically endangered bird. For 2 weeks, they will live in the protection of soft release pens on the refuge and will transition to a natural diet. At the end of this acclimation period, the doors will open and the birds are free to walk on the open prairie for the first time. These prairie chickens have a tough journey before them. The lucky few will go on to mature and breed in the wild, hopefully bringing this species back from the brink of extinction.
There's a lot of dedicated folks that work towards this end, and hopefully we'll get there.